a spontaneous, intuitive, live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. Focusing on the lives, experiences, and viewpoints of motherlode women, the show features a rotating cast of 4 women of all ages and from all walks of life. Quick, upbeat, and fast-paced with a variety of topics, this 1-hour show will be aired live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Tune in, it's Just Between Us.
Good morning and welcome to, where are we? Just Between Us.
Where are we?
I'm so excited to see Kathleen back. And Kathleen and Kathleen and Alicia Kathleen. I'm so excited that they're here. Good morning and welcome to Just Between Us. I'm Susie from Volcano.
I'm Kathleen from Mountain Ranch.
I'm Kathleen from Pioneer.
I'm Alicia from my own still.
Still. Soon to change.
Yes.
Okay, girls, let's do this.
Oh,
let's do
you
our
get to
first
roll
few
the
topics.
Oh, I get to roll the dice.
Okay. This game.
I want to shake it.
A 1. Okay. Oops.
I have them
Oops,
backwards, upside
There we
down,
go.
inside out.
Okay.
And otherwise,
Okay. So questions and answers. What question does not deserve an answer from you?
What question does not deserve an answer?
from?
Okay, and the second one?
oh,
I need a little. Thank you.
It's an hour show.
I'm just fanning. I'm just fanning.
Give her a
I haven't
break.
been here in a long time.
Free-for-all.
I'm new.
You want to take the first free-for-all?
Sure. Yeah.
Kathleen and Alicia will take the second one. We're going to take a short break and come back and hit you up with these 2 topics.
Okay. Hey, we can do
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive, live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
Welcome back to Just Between Us. And Kathleen, we're going to do our first question first, and then we'll do your
Okay.
free-for-all.
Okay, so the first question is, what question does not deserve an answer from you, or from us, or from anyone?
Have you gained weight? How much do you weigh? How tall are you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Right.
You look older than that.
Yeah, and this is somebody you know really, really
I don't
well.
think there's anybody.
Oh,
Like,
I
I
was
don't even
getting
tell my
ready-
husband how
was
much
getting-
I weigh.
I was getting
or
ready to answer you because I...
Those are just bad. Somebody asked me that in the gym one time. It was over Christmas, and had I gained weight? And yeah, truthfully, I had. He said, "Well, did you stop running or something?" And I was like, "I just ran a 50K 3
Do you
days
feel
ago."
good, Alicia, about yourself? That's all that
Yeah,
counts.
really.
What stupid questions to
And I'm
ask somebody
probably
that?
still the fittest, healthiest person you know. So
Absolutely.
is it any of your business? No.
Right.
Go suck an egg.
How about a dozen or 2?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Kathleen, what do you think?
I don't generally think fast enough to not answer a question until after I'm halfway through it, and then I think,
Why am I answering?
why am I answering this?
right,
What
right.
business is this of yours?
Yeah.
What the questions that annoy me that people ask are, how much did that cost?
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
really?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, do I want to tell them I shop at Nordstrom's or Walmart? I just, that one kind of makes me
Walmart.
bristle.
For
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
Walmart
Well,
girl.
I think
yeah,
that's
it's
the
just-
key.
yeah.
If it makes you feel funny, if it makes you feel standoffish,
What about
then
if somebody
it's not
says something
somebody
like,
else's
wow,
business.
that looks expensive. I bet you paid a lot for that. Is that hitting in that ballpark?
Yeah. I don't know. When a question has a questionable motive, it
Yeah,
makes
right,
me
there you
wonder,
go.
why do you want to know?
that's it right there. It's the motive that it's asked, the intent of the asker, of the person who's
Yeah.
asking the question. I totally believe that's where it lies. right
It's
there.
like if somebody came
if
up
you're
to me,
feeling like it's
because I feel like I look good, and somebody came up to me and said, boy, have you lost weight? That could make me preen and go, you bet. But
Yeah.
if I'm in one of my fat days, it's like, what the heck do you want to know
Right,
for?
right, right.
Yeah, right.
So it depends
I
on
think
how it's coming
it's
at
your
me.
frame of
Yeah.
mind, how you decipher the question,
Yeah.
because people have asked me, how old are you? And
Right.
and I tell them I'm 66 years old. I just tell them,
Right.
and they say, oh, I knew you were in that ballpark, but. And then, of course, after I hit them and I'm picking them up off the ground, ask me again.
after they get up
I'll
off the
fix,
sidewalk.
I'll
no.
fix you.
I
But
just think there's some things that
I I don't
it's
think
just
people
plain
think.
rude to ask, and,
Yes.
and people will ask you because you're, I work in a gym, I'm a fitness guru, so people feel like it's okay to ask me questions like that. It's not okay to ask anybody questions like that.
No, and we've been there before, being heavy.
Well, I think everybody has.
Yes,
So
everybody
you
has,
know that when
everybody
you
has.
lose weight and somebody compliments you, you feel, oh my, I feel really
Right.
good.
Yeah.
But there's an old saying, when a dog's got a bone, he wants a little meat on it. I think women look more attractive and look beautiful with a little weight on them. I really do. I think women look beautiful with weight on them. So I think that if somebody asks you something like that, take it with a grain of salt, because you are so healthy
Right?
and you look
Yeah, right.
so good and you have accomplished so much. These people don't care. And like you said, it depends on the motive
Right.
behind. I
And the
think
bottom line, it's not their business.
it is none of their
I mean,
business.
and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and I
And I mean, I think that's really the bottom line. I love to wear cheap jewelry, inexpensive things that I put together, and I have this one little thing. Everybody comes up to me and say, "Oh my God, where did you get this? You must have paid." I paid $1 for the marble and $1 for the thing I put it in, And I love to come back with that because
See, I think
they're-
I think that's because you've got a great imagination, and you're artsy. You
Well-
know how to do things like that. What about somebody that knows you've just gone through a breakup and says, "I heard," or "Is it true that he did this or you did that?" That is, to me, is crossing the line.
Well, and I would flat out say at
None
that point,
of
none of
your
your business.
Right,
Yeah.
I have no
there are times
problem
when
saying that.
that's one where I could actually get it out. For the most part, I would, fumble around with I don't want to be
Right.
rude, but when something's so obviously rude,
Right,
rude.
right.
Some people ask questions and they're just not thinking when they
Right,
open
right.
their mouth. But when
and they're not being mean.
yeah,
Sometimes
but when
they just don't
somebody's
think.
got a
Sometimes-
gossipy intent, it's like
Yes.
none of your business.
No.
Yeah.
I'll look at them and say, "What's your point?
I like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's your point?" Throw it back because that's where it belongs.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong here. It belongs
That's a
wherever.
really good way
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times people, they don't think before they insert foot and mouth.
Yeah.
They don't think, and I think some of them, it's not a cruel thing, but I know where you're coming from. There are some people that love to yap, and they want all the details. It's like you can see them taking notes. And you're right. Then you think, well, why do you need to know this or whatever?
Well, because that's what my mind is asking. My
Yeah.
mind is like, well, what difference does it make? I mean, why is this so important? And so it's like, well, what's your point?
I
I got
like
a
that.
question for you guys. You want to go on to the next topic?
Sure.
I guess we're done with this
I
one, aren't we?
guess so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. There we go,
You got
free
the
for all.
first free for all.
Well, okay. So what I wanted to discuss today, which we won't be able to complete the whole thing because I don't have all the information.
Okay.
But I want to introduce it because I think it's important, and especially at this time in our economy in the United States. I recently, when we came back from Bosnia, was a victim of identity theft. Okay, someone broke into our computer through our AT&T Yahoo server, and AT&T recently merged with Yahoo. I don't know if everybody knows this, but anyway, broke in, and thousands and thousands of people were hacked and their identity was stolen. Okay, but that's not the main point that I want to discuss. What I want to discuss is when I called the credit card companies, they said, "Oh yeah, no problem, it's going to be taken off, blah, blah, blah." Well, this happened 3 or 4 times over the last 3 months. We finally had to go to the FTC, and we had to file charges with the Better Business Bureau, and all kinds of things have had to take place as a result of this. It's been a part-time job, but that's still not the point. The point is that the credit card companies now are at a loss as a result of this identity theft just for me, to the tune of somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000 to $30,000.
Wow.
And they just say, no big deal. Now, this has happened to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people were hit during this time frame when this was happening. Anyone who had their computer on, who had a Yahoo account during this time frame. Okay, so I asked one of the credit card companies, who is backing this money? Well, they're insured, and I'm trying to find out, and this is what I'm going to do on the 16th when we come back, is discuss, is this being paid by our government, ultimately by the American people. Who is
always
footing
gonna
the bill?
ultimately be paid by the American people.
It's a
whether
tax
through
write-off.
the government.
Yeah.
It's a tax write-off.
it's a
I did
tax
find
write-off.
that out.
Yeah.
I was able to find out that it is a tax write-off for the credit card companies,
Right.
and the person whose identity was stolen obviously is not the person who takes care of it. But the hackers have walked away with thousands, well, billions.
Mhm.
They've walked away with billions of dollars from our economy. And then, so it's like we're double dipped here. And then, if it is our government that is backing this money, which is what I'm trying to find out, we are paying for this.
We're paying for it either way.
Yeah, it's not so much that they're
Absolutely.
backing it because they don't compensate the companies, but the companies get to write it off. So in tax revenue, that's where it's lost.
Yeah,
is
they
in
can take
tax
so
revenue.
much, and they can spread it across a few, so many years,
But
I think,
but
right?
truly the
loss.
point is this is not an isolated incident
No,
because
no.
I
No.
was a victim of identity theft and I asked the same question and it wasn't AT&T, Yahoo, it was somebody hacked in and got information, and for the rest of my life I have to pay for LifeLock because my Social Security number was compromised
So
as
was
well.
mine.
And so not only am I having to pay something on a monthly basis to protect myself, I have to monitor every transaction. I don't apply for credit, but every time credit is applied for under my Social Security number, they have to contact me. So it would inconvenience me if I was in the middle of trying to do something. But at the end of the day, and it was Wells Fargo's was the company that I was, and I still do business with them because they were wonderful. But they take the loss, they get to write it off. And I am one of millions of people. I was at a luncheon on Wednesday, and a lady was talking about identity theft, and she had been hit. She didn't explain the circumstances, and you're right, it is a part-time job. It took me about 6 months to clean my life up and take care of everything. And the answer is it costs too much to litigate to try and go after them, so they don't. They just let it go. And
This
try
is
and
the thing.
try and tell us how not to have it happen. Well,
see,
in your
this
case,
is the thing.
there's no way to protect yourself.
This is the thing that when I filed the police report, when I went to the one credit card company, that it was initially, the initial one, they actually showed me on, their back screen. They had this television screen monitor, and they actually showed me the location of the hacker, the address, and we actually saw the back of their vehicle, which I could have actually, if I wanted to, I could have written down their license plate number. So they
know who they are.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! And they do nothing.
Nothing.
That's
So I gave all this information
So
to the
then-
police
Unconscionable.
department.
Yeah.
I gave all this information to the police department. I gave all this information to the FTC, and I've heard nothing. And so I've called them back and wanted to find out, well, when are these people going to be arrested? I'm ready and willing to be a witness in the case, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing.
Well,
Nothing
maybe
has
it's not being
taken
handled
place.
it could be that it's not being handled by a local agency. It goes up the chain of command, and there's probably a lot more. And sometimes the investigations take up like almost to a year. But if they've got some type of identity, trust me, they're working on it. They're going to do
Well,
something.
I did
You
have a
would hope.
discussion with a
Yeah.
very, very well-informed FBI agent this last week because I wasn't sure where to call, so I called the FBI locally to find out if I could get more information. And he said that the FTC is handling, but what they're doing is rings. They're trying to break up the rings.
Right. It takes a
So-
long time. We got to move on and do two more. Find out more information.
I
When you
will.
come back next time, we'll update on that because it's
Okay.
very interesting.
Okay, and number 6. Okay, that special relationship. And number 6 is, do you allow or should you allow your special relationship to consume your life? After all, is it that special? Okay.
Okay. And the next one.
okay. The next one.
Okay. And
Another
roll the
roll.
dice.
Oh,
Another
sorry.
roll.
Falling down on the job over here.
She had the dog in the vet
Number
in the middle of the
4.
night. She's tired.
Yeah, I know. We're going to have to reread this. Okay. So finances. And number 4 is some people need help when they have hit a setback. Do you feel that our state government does enough to help them come out of their hardship and get back on track?
We'll find out. We'll be right back.
Just Between Us is spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
Welcome back to Just Between Us. And Kathleen, you want to read our first question?
Sure.
Sure.
Number 6 is, do you allow or should you allow your special relationship to consume your life? After all, it is special.
Well, sure.
Nothing should consume you
But not to
because
the
you
point.
lose yourself.
Yeah.
The word consume
Consume.
says to me that I lose myself and
Your identity.
Right,
and
right,
everything.
right, right. And all your
Right.
friends. And,
Yeah.
and then the person that fell in love with you, you're no longer that person.
It's special.
Right.
Sure,
Exactly.
you allow
Yeah.
more
But
for
you
that.
still need to be
but
yourself.
you need to keep your identity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't shun other people. You need, embrace, have them embrace other people in your relationship.
I used to give up things that were important to me because I perceived that the other person wanted or needed me to
Right.
do a set of things, and so that's very unhealthy.
It is, because you eventually lose yourself and you develop, resentment as a result of that.
Where's
and
your
I think
personality?
there's a natural flow of relationships. There's just a natural flow. In the beginning, you spend, every minute, because you. Yeah, exactly. You
have
do.
that feeling. Now
You
it's
do.
gas.
But you do. And then, it tapers off a little, and then I think it becomes, you get to where
You
you
never
have
gave
sort
up
of a
anything
healthy
for-
balance,
right.
I do
after a
think
while.
I do think I did. Actually, I
Really?
think that was the first thing that worked with me and Ryan. 38 years old, and I'd never been married before. And no, I definitely didn't give up my friends and my life and all the things that I do, but there are some things I don't do as much anymore, and some things I have to spend time with him. He's my
Because you're a
husband.
wife.
Well, that's compromise.
And right.
Okay,
It's
compromise is
compromise,
different
You're a
and
wife.
you make sacrifices for the other person.
Right.
This is the first time in my life that I was always like, I'm not giving up anything for you. I'm not giving up any of my time. This is the way my life is. If you fit into that, great. I'll see you next Wednesday. That's when I have time. I would sort of slot him into when I had time for him, and I tell you what, the guy that is satisfied with that isn't really your guy. Ryan wanted way more than that from me. I'll see you next Wednesday, or and actually, it turned out to be really awesome and really special that somebody did want to spend his time with me that way.
And went about the right way of pursuing it instead of just fine, I'll take my toys and go home kind of thing.
Right.
Right.
Oh, okay.
When you work at making lives fit together, but when it's one-sided, that's what that
Right.
question says to me.
Right,
is,
Right, that you give up
okay,
everything
what
for
you-
me and I give
yeah,
up.
what
Right,
the- what you were putting out there is, this is me. If you like it,
right.
fit,
Right.
fit
You
in.
fit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fit yourself in where you
There's
can.
Lot of
that, there's
maturity,
that
too.
side, and,
Sure.
then you can the consume, I think, is the key word here.
Yeah.
You can either be completely consumed, or you just fit in on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And then there's the happy medium where you both have healthy lives and you both have healthy interests, and you come together because you enjoy
Right.
that time
Right,
together,
being
and
together
sharing what you do.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and age has nothing to do with that maturity level. So
No.
when you say
No, for sure not.
You can have a 20-year-old mature. You can have a 60-year-old not mature.
Right.
It's
Yes.
the maturity that's in you, what you want to give, where you can say, "Hey, I want you to take off and go fishing with the guys. I'm fine with that. Go out, go to the game with the guys. Go do something." That's mature. You don't have to cling and be with that person
I need
24/7.
you every minute.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
need space for a good relationship. You need your space.
You do.
And you
do.
need to have your individual activities because no one person can
Right.
complete another person. It's not healthy. So you have to be able to go your own way and do your own things and have your own interests. But you've got to do that compromise thing where it's not I'll see you, I can fit you in an hour a week from Wednesday
Yeah.
type of thing. You've got to be able
No,
to.
you're not a client.
Right.
You're a special person.
Right.
Right.
Oh, nicely
Well, and
put.
anybody who's satisfied with that,
Yeah.
sort of client relationship, it's just not a relationship, you know.
Not at all.
And
Time to move on.
Okay, so number 2 is financials, and we have number 4 is some people need help when they have hit a setback. Do you feel that our state government does enough to help them come out of that hardship and get back on track.
That question is worded really oddly because
Yes,
it makes
it
it sound like the state should be responsible for supporting that
Yes.
individual. There's a lot of assistance out there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank God.
What's broken, unfortunately, in my opinion, and we kind of had an off-camera dialogue about this, is the state of California does not manage its resources well.
No.
And I was talking to the new CEO of the United Way, and the Sacramento area, he's lost 40% of his employer contributions because businesses are closing and moving out of state because it's too expensive to do business in the state of California. And we just keep taxing and putting fees on, and it's intrinsically broken at its root. So that's where I think that the state is screwing up, is it's making it impossible for people to be successful living in the state of California.
And a lot of like the counties and stuff are and we've seen towns like a few of the towns that have filed for bankruptcy is because I mean, we have to take into consideration the housing market. People are walking away from their homes. That means that revenue is not coming in, and the tax base is down. Therefore, I mean, it's like a little vicious circle, and we have just got to take, and we obviously we have to take baby steps. Nothing can be done overnight. So we've got to take these steps, and we've got to get back on track. But it is so true. Unfortunately, we have lost so many businesses to out of state, to other states to do business, and you know, where the answer lies, I don't know. But California has become basically, they say we're a not in essence a welfare state. We are in trouble, and we have been. We've discussed this 3 or 4 years ago. You know, and it's just seems like we've got to get back on track. And when a person needs help, thank goodness there are resources out there to help. And even though we all give, I can't give a lot, but I give a little. We all can do our part. You help your fellow man. And
Right.
I think
Well,
that's
I think the
important.
structure, though, I think we need to really look at the structure of the way that we're giving, because you can, you know, the old saying is you can give someone a barrel of corn or whatever, or you can teach them how to plant corn.
Right.
You know, and I think that we can't just give without some sort of structure, without something, you know, a plan of how are you, you know, this can't go on indefinitely, in other words.
Well, and you know, truly, you know, and I worked for the food bank for years, and the reality is it's a community-supported food bank, and we have a tremendous model here in Amador County, which is very different than most food distributions in California. But some people do need help. They need that hand
Absolutely.
out because they have. But we also have 4th-generation welfare recipients that don't know how to work for a living because they have been successfully taken care of. They have low-income housing. They get food stamps. They get cash aid, whatever it is that they get. And that model is not successful. It doesn't work, and they keep trying to fix it, and it's still broken. And I don't have the answer to that one. But the reality is
that when somebody gets a job after they have been unemployed, they feel so much better about themselves.
And
my gosh, they feel whole again.
They do, but when you consider that a full-time minimum wage job, you cannot exist
No, you
on
can't.
what
Right,
you make.
right, right.
You cannot exist.
No, of
To me,
course not.
that is what's broken, and
That has to change.
the parity can't be, well, make employers charge more, or pay them more, because that it just intrinsically it just keeps working its way back up. So that model just doesn't work. So what the answer is, I don't know. I don't know, but it's.
I don't even think the politicals
Well,
know.
I think, you know, I think we're moving as a society, we're moving towards more independence in terms of people starting their own businesses. And I think really companies are no longer, they can't foot the bill anymore. I mean, they can't foot the bill for retirements, they can't foot the bill for medical. Medical keeps skyrocketing, retirements keep skyrocketing. They're going bankrupt, businesses. You know,
cities are going
our
bankrupt,
cities are
for
going
God's sake.
bankrupt as a result of this. So I think we're moving towards, you know, more entrepreneurial type situations where people, you know, need to be starting their own businesses and getting more creative in that sense, and contribute to their own retirement and their own medical and things like that, because it's just not going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and I really think that the successful people that are going to come out of this, successful models, need to look at this type of training. I really do. I think that this is what not try to go for a job that's limited by minimum wage or whatever, but go for something a little bit more tailored for that particular person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really think that this is what we need to start looking towards.
And there's always going to be employers and employees, but to
Well, of
me,
course there is.
the cost of living is continually compounding, and wages don't keep up. And at some point, you know, you look at what happened in 1929 and the stock market crash, and you know, in 2009, interestingly enough, it was another 9. But you know, we had a crash in our economy that was as close to that as it's going to get, and we're not recovering.
No, we're not.
We're not recovering. I don't know what the answer is, but we got off of California. But California has a broken financial structure.
And our systems are broken.
Yeah. We have to move on and do our last 2 topics. One will
So
be
you
a
just get them. There you go.
Well, we might as well. Free for all. So we have a free for all?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. 2 of them in there. And there you go, dear.
Okay, and number 5, where or when? Number 5 is, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what will you be doing?
Oh, God, I hope I'm breathing. 66, I just want to breathe. That's all. And have a little blood pressure. I'll be happy. We'll be right back.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
Welcome back to Just Between Us. I'm Susie from Volcano.
And I'm Kathleen from Mountain Ranch.
And I'm Kathleen from Pioneer.
Alicia from my own, still.
Yeah.
Soon to be
Possibly
elsewhere.
as early as today.
With a little bit more brightness in your smile
Yes.
with that one.
Yes, let's get this on the show on the road. Okay, my love.
Okay, when or where? And number 6 is, when do you know it is time to reach out and ask for help, or are you the type that is stubborn and won't ask? And that's not the one we were doing, was it?
No.
That was number 5. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay.
It was an interesting
Number
question,
5
Right?
is, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what will you be doing?
I said
that's much
hopefully
better.
breathing. That's it. That's all I want. Breathing
Yes.
and my children, grandkids, you know, grandchildren, healthy, happy, hubby, happy, healthy. That's all I want out of life. I'm at that stage where nothing else matters.
I would hope in 5 years that I can find a way to be retired.
Yeah,
Retired.
you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. Well, actually, I want my husband and I to be healthy and retired, because we recently had a very close friend pass away at 49 and another one at 60, which, you know, both just, hit within a week and a half of each other. Really dear friends of my husband's. And so I would say health first and then retirement, definitely. I'd love to be just completely retired.
I'll take retired in 5 years. Sure.
Well, you know, there's something to. I remember my father's retirement party. He retired, and it was a wonderful celebration. And he ended up needing to go back to work because financially he couldn't make it. And he worked until he was 70 years old. And you know, it's. Pardon me. Let me restate that. He worked until he was 80 years old. And then your body is, you know, he said, now I can't travel, now I can't, now I can't, now I can't. And, you know, so, and you're right, people have untimely deaths, and I guess maybe the key is 5 years from now I want to be healthy, happy, and enjoying my life regardless of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And not looking at the things that I need to get accomplished, but looking at the things that I have accomplished and enjoying it.
When you have your health, you have everything. Right?
I really believe
That's it.
that. Yeah, I really
once you
do
have your
think-
health, you've got it made. Getting up in the morning and being able to get out of bed And
I swear there's a switch that flipped when I turned 60. I get out of bed in the morning and it's like, oh, when did that start hurting?
Believe me, when you turn 65, the only moaning and groaning coming from the bedroom is one of you trying to get out of bed. That is it. And making it to the bathroom before you step on.
That's priceless.
You're young. You just
I love that you say that. Just say that again.
You're just a little. You in 5 years.
She's the baby in the room.
You won't even be 40 yet, will you?
Yes.
Oh, you will be?
Yeah, only
5
just,
years.
I swear.
Oh,
Yeah,
you'll be
it's
43.
43 in 5 years. Yeah.
Right.
Like I tell them, I have underwear older than you.
I'll take that. That's great.
I don't want to see him.
No, really.
The days of the week are faded. Remember those?
Yes.
The days of the week with the
Yes,
roses?
I do.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that most people, I think once you hit like 50, 60 years old, you start to see
Priorities change.
your priorities change, and
Right, they do.
it's not. I mean, everybody, of course, wants to be comfortable monetarily. We all do that, and you want to have a certain amount of toys and things that make your life fun, but they're not important. Okay, you get up if you can survive, and you make it from payday to payday or whatever, and you have your health and your children. You see your children happy. You see your grandchildren healthy. You've got the best gift of all.
Yeah, health is really underrated. There used to be
Very
that
much
old
so.
saying that people would say,
Family.
"Oh, your whole life fell apart, but at least you have your health," and people meant
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And now that's like a joke, as if
Yeah.
your health wasn't good enough. I tell you what, I thank God every day for my health.
Yeah.
When I didn't have it, when I was a pack-a-day smoker and I was almost 300 pounds, there's a big difference. So, wow, I mean,
I agree.
I guess to have been unhealthy in every way. I was in metabolic breakdown, so I could have died at any moment.
Right.
And to go from that to, I just ran a 50-mile race about 2 weeks ago
Right.
and smoked it, by the way. But, not literally.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was no pack of cigarettes in that smoking.
No, really. And you can't do, and came out of it, woke up the next day and a little bit of
Felt like
muscle soreness, but no, I mean,
you really don't appreciate it until I
Right.
can
until,
completely.
right.
And I've been there,
And
same
I-
thing. I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and that has not been the case, and I was able to work my way
And you
out of
licked
that.
it.
Pardon?
You licked it. You
That's
showed them a
right. I
thing or
licked
two.
it.
Well, and I just
So-
want to stop for just a second and go back to what kind of we blew over. This woman ran a 50-mile
Yeah. She's
50
amazing.
miles, 50 miles.
Miles,
That's
yes.
running from Pioneer to Jackson and back.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And another 10 miles up the hill.
And
I mean,
tell me,
that's
10 years
astonishing.
Ago, you couldn't have walked it.
10 years ago, I couldn't have walked 50 feet.
There you go.
I mean, that's in. I guess people ask me all the time, "Why do you do that?" And I say, "Well,
Why shouldn't you
Because
do
I
it?
can."
Why not? Yeah.
And I really think, I see people every day in the gym who say, "Well, I couldn't do that." And let me tell you a little story about the lady who couldn't do that. I did it 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to do it again in 6 months. If I'm lucky, I get to run 100 miles.
Wow.
So, wow, and people look at me and I'm like, the soccer mom next door. And it's not like I look like this crazy, machine running person, whatever. I'm just this nice lady, And so you don't have to be or do anything super special. I guess, and if I had a goal for 5 years from now, it would be to figure out a way to spread that to a wider audience. So look, people are, especially right now, because we're in it's as close to a depression as makes no difference, and that involves some actual real emotional depression too.
Yeah, it does.
And this feeling of hopelessness, and we're not going anywhere, and things aren't getting better, and blah blah blah, and this is both your physical and your mental state. Wow, anything can happen. And I wish that everybody had that same sort of physical manifestation in their life of that as I have, because it's amazing.
Is it? Does it not get frustrating sometime when you see people just not taking that first step?
Who are doomed, yes, a lot. Especially
when you've been there, when you've been overweight, and believe me, I've been there. You just say, by God, like Alicia said, if I can do it, yes, you can do it. You can be anything you want. If you really want to. It's first of all, you take the first step, personal responsibility, stand up and say, I have this problem. Now it's up to me to put the wheels in motion.
And I think it's sad when, and I completely understand what you're saying, when you try to convey that, because I worked for a homeopath for the last 9 months part-time, and it's tremendously sad to me when I see people say, I want to do this, but then they won't do what it takes
But
to get to the other
self-motivation
side.
when you're in a depressed state is
virtually
really impossible.
Absolutely.
And so there's because I've been there, done that, and it's really tough to get up in the morning and force yourself to do something when you just soon sit in the corner and tuck in and just
say, I don't
let
wanna
the
play
world
anymore.
go away.
I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And
there's lots of ways to do that. There's lots of ways to do that with eating and drugs and whatever. I mean, there's lots of ways.
Self-medication is
Self-medication,
Right.
or just plain depression. There's lots of ways to avoid reality and avoid dealing with life. But life, is passing you by every minute, every minute that you allow it to. And I think, if we can live it to the fullest, that's all we really have. That's really all we have.
Yeah.
Is just this minute to make the best of it. And it's difficult to convey that. It's really difficult to convey how good it feels to do that, to make the choice. My father always says, you make a choice when you get up every day whether you're going to live or die. And if you're going to live, you're going to put effort into living. And if you're going to die, you can sit there, you can,
Well, you put effort into dying, too.
Exactly.
I have to say, wow, when I was
Exactly.
killing myself, it was a lot harder life than it is now. I
But
could
it's
run
a
50
decision.
miles
So
as a
it
breeze,
starts with a decision.
it really does. Every day.
and
I don't wanna be
support.
like
Are we
that.
in our free-for-all yet?
No, you go for it.
Well, because I think we ought to kind of segue, because we never did decide on a
ahead.
topic.
I know.
Segue into the process, because there is a lot of depression out there right now. There is a tremendous amount of sedentary behavior.
Yep.
I canceled my gym membership because I could not afford to pay it anymore, because I now have 3 generations living in my home, because the economy has created an environment where that's happening. And so my salary is supporting 3 adults and 4 children right now, and it's not enough. So you just figure out ways to cut corners, and I don't do all the fancy stuff to my hair anymore that I used to, and blah, blah, blah. But you hit on something that I think is really critical, because, my daughter is dealing with health issues, and I'm not doing the regime that somebody is forcing me to do, and so I've got to figure out ways to do that. And, I think it would be very interesting for somebody to have some first steps to how, you make a decision, or you're not even sure you can make a decision, but what is it that you do to start building the self-esteem by working on your health? Because you've been there, done that.
Yeah, you have to put the person in the right mental place. And one of the things, actually, the few things that is 100% known about like weight loss and weight management psychology is that if your brain isn't in the right place, you just can't start. And all those people who sit at home perpetuating this myth that I can't start because, and the belief is I can't do it. For whatever reason, I'm not going to be successful. I'm either going to, I have this experience where I lost a bunch of weight and then I gained it all back, for instance. So therefore, I say to myself over and over and over until I believe it, that if I lose weight, I'll never be able to keep it off. So there's no point.
Yeah.
And sadly,
Aren't you your own worst enemy and
Yes.
you're your own best friend? We got to take a
Right.
short break, but we'll be right back. And that's the thing. When you learn to become your best friend instead of your worst enemy, that's the first step. And to look in the mirror and say, okay, we're going to do this.
But
now
it-
we're going to do this.
it does really
We're going
help.
to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
Never stop talking.
No. And we're not going to.
No.
So,
No.
are you ready for your hot topic?
Sure.
Okay. What are some of your favorite and least favorite costumes, Halloween costumes?
Oh,
Least favorite. Anything that's like short up to here and down to here and fishnet stockings.
No trick or
I'm
treat
so
for
tired.
you.
Really,
Fishnet
so tired
stockings.
of like girls. It's like your one opportunity to dress like a tart and get, you know what? When you go out dancing or whatever, give yourself the opportunity to dress that way if you want to. Halloween isn't for you to like go show off your
Parts.
store. Exactly.
Bend over and crack a smile. And
There's nothing cuter than like a cute girl in a bunny suit. From, you know.
When I was a little girl, my mother always made my costumes, and I bugged her and bugged her and bugged her. I wanted to be Tweety Bird. Well, it's not a costume that she made. She went to the store and bought it. I cried because it wasn't something my mom had made me. So I will tell you that Tweety Bird is my least favorite costume because it was the one Halloween when my mom did not sew my costume. So that would be it for me.
Well, see, and we always had homemade costumes, and all the other kids had the special, and they would say, "Where's your mask? Where's your this?" And I'd be like, "I'm a tube of toothpaste." But
well, and that's why I bugged my mom to, and I had to earn it, and all, but it was my least favorite costume because it was the kind that just tied in the back, and it just didn't have that wonderful quality that my mom always put into stuff.
And if you came with 50 feet of an open flame, you went up like a candle.
And it actually had that label in the back, I'm sure.
Flammable, that flammable, highly flammable.
And that
label.
plastic mask with the two holes that you're sweating
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
And we used to walk up and down with pillowcases.
Yeah,
That was
I
when you
remember
didn't have
that.
to x-ray your candy. But I would take a pillowcase, and I lived in Burbank at the time, and we would walk up and down, probably 12, 14 blocks, and I would get, I would have to go unload the pillowcase and go back out,
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Kathleen?
I remember that. I remember pillowcases. Well, least favorite would be anything that is in good taste.
Yeah.
And that it could be anything. I mean, but showing body parts that are unnecessary. It's a children's holiday, for God's sake. I don't think it's appropriate to. If you want to go do that, go get a job at a topless bar, for God's sake.
I have a costume.
Or whatever. I mean,
I have my spider.
I do think that is really adorable, by the way.
But it is a
Emmett Flower
children's,
Farm.
primarily, I think it's a children's holiday. Adults I enjoy it immensely. I love giving out candy, and I love taking my grandchildren. I absolutely love what they, watching them. And I have there are 2 and 3 this year, my littlest ones, and I'm going to enjoy it thoroughly. But I don't think that they need to see, inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be
I don't
mixed.
like dressing up kids, and I guess that there's a show, those toddlers and tiaras.
Oh my
God, yeah.
God,
They
that
dress the
program
kid-
is
Lord.
revolting.
I think I've seen it maybe once, and I've seen it commercials. But when these women dress up these little kids like
Dollies.
to me,
and the kids
that's
sit
ugly.
and cry because they are so stressed. They're hysterical or they're bratty
I
and
think
bitchy.
they're setting these children up for predators. I mean, to me, that is insane. I would
but
never
even
do
just
that.
doing
to a
stuff like
child.
that for
And,
Halloween,
emotional,
dressing them
yeah,
up as like Dolly Parton or whatever, like some of these things do.
Right?
I don't
and
like
I've
this.
seen people dress up their little kids.
I think it's
like,
ugly.
Yeah.
Well, and the costumes are certainly available in the store.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
another
What happened
thing-
to Spider-Man and Princess
Well,
Sleeping Beauty or
Princess
whatever?
Leia
Yeah,
Princess Leia, whatever,
yeah,
the two-
exactly.
yeah. I want to wind my hair up first.
I saw the cutest little.
I just, I had an Alice in Wonderland costume one year, and it was just below the knee, and it was a cute little blue dress.
Yeah.
What is the one you see now that's up to your thighs and down to here, and it has that
because sex sales. That's unfortunate.
For a
Sex
12-year-old?
sales. I'll tell you another
Oh, my
costume.
gosh.
Another costumes I don't like is I don't like political figures. I don't like people. To me, it's disrespectful, or a pregnant nun or something. I mean, ha 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 ha. But you need to draw a line.
Inappropriate.
It's inappropriate. I don't like people to make fun of, some of our well-known like presidents or whatever. To me, I don't know. I just don't. think
when
stuff
you're a
like
public
that.
figure, you're
Well,
open for that. But the
You're
reality,
open to
Somewhere
yourself
or
up
other,
to it.
yeah.
For
we
me, I
have
wouldn't
lost.
do it.
We have lost the wholesomeness that used to drive our lifestyles.
Yeah.
That wholesomeness is gone, and this holiday is a real good example of just how cheesy.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
the
we
point
have
I'm trying to
gotten
make.
there, yeah.
It just,
It really
I don't like the ugliness that can come
Families,
out,
yeah.
and to do things
Let
like
kids
that.
be kids and play and
Absolutely.
and be the cartoon characters
Right.
that
Yes.
yeah.
And it
Well,
really
it used
is.
to
It's
be-
the one
it
time
used
a
to
year
be
for adults
fun.
to be kids,
It
though,
used to
too.
be, right.
Why not dress as a bunny
Yeah,
rabbit?
we gotta go.
Absolutely.
Darn it.
Personally, I agree. The bunny
yeah.
rabbit. We're
Too bad.
gonna hop to this. We'll be right back. I'll come back. You can get a hold of us at 223-4877, or you can fax us at 223-4866, or you can email us at bookme@tspntv.com. I want to say I'm so happy you're back. I
Well,
missed
thank you.
I haven't seen
know,
you for a
right?
while. And you
No.
too, Missy. And you
I got put in the corner because I missed being here when I was supposed to be here.
Oh, well, it's good. It's good. It's good to see you. It's good to see you back. And thank goodness you came back from Bosnia nice and safe.
Yep.
Yes,
And
yes.
please update us
absolutely.
when you come back
I
next
will.
time.
I'm
You're
going to
back
get
in
some
a
more
few weeks.
information on that, and I'll be back on November 16th.
Okay,
And
good.
I'm going to get some more background information on that because I really am interested. Is who is paying these billions of dollars? You
Yeah.
know, for who's taking footing the bill for this?
Yeah.
You
It
know,
would be our tax dollars would be my
Well, and
guess.
obviously,
Well,
then if it's
I
in
would guess,
merchandise, they
too,
got the
I-
merchandise, just like they do when
Right.
shoplifting or whatever. You, Missy, congratulations on your 50 miles.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I hope everything works
Yeah,
out for
Rudy
you.
will know by December if I get to run 100. So
I think that's going to be great, and you've got something new coming into your life maybe in the next few
Yes.
days. So I am excited about that for you and Ryan, and I hope that everything works out.
yes, me too.
Yes,
This time.
and you, I'm proud of you always.
Oh, thank you.
And
It's good to be back.
You're
I've missed
just
this
doing
chit
great.
chat.
yeah.
Don't be a stranger. Come back. Everybody loves you. We miss you dearly. And you, I'm glad that your hubby's doing good.
Oh, he's doing great. He's
doing great.
He's doing great.
Well, I'm going to plug the food bank, even though I don't work
Please
for him
do.
anymore. Tom Thompson is the new store director, or was the store director at Rayleigh's. He's now the executive director at the food bank, and they're entering into their turkey drive for the holiday season. And Tommy's is sponsoring that again, so please watch for that. They need to raise 2,000 turkeys this year
Great. We can do it.
to feed the
We can do
people in our community that aren't making it.
And not
So
only that, and remember that every time you go shopping, pick up an extra can, put it in a box.
Yeah.
I drop my stuff up at Bank of Amador, where I live way up there in
Right.
Amador Pines. So it's not inconvenient. You can do it. And pretty soon we'll have the pre-made things that you can go in and buy. So please remember, people, that there are a lot of people go to bed hungry at night, and we can't
in
have
our
that.
community,
Our
yeah.
neighbors.
In our
Yeah.
community, we cannot do that, and we've got to take care of our own and reach out and help these people, because there are many
Yes.
in need.
So
So have a good time.
happy Halloween, everybody out there.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see y'all next week. We'll be there.